Hello, welcome to Krafting Kitty. My name is Erin, and it is time to do another Mary Maxim review of a yarn. I adapted it. Mimicry is the most sincere form of flattery, Mama G. So today we are going to take a look at Mary Maxim Titan yarn. This is a bulky weight 3-ply 100% acrylic 3 ounce 85 grams 80 yards 73 meters yarn. This is made in Canada with imported fibers. The color is red, but it just gives me a lot of numbers. WL234861. Good. Oh, berry. There's some words. Color is berry. It's a bright red. Candy apple red. It asks for a 6mm knitting needle in it's a 6mm crochet hook, just a J hook. That's interesting. You can machine wash and dry. This is moth proof, it says. What? Color fast, non-allergenic. What? Do not triangle. Don't bleach your yarn. So there we go. That is the basics on it. I've got MaryMaxim.com up on my phone. Full price on this yarn is $4.99 per skein. It is Saturday, August 12th. This is not going to come out for a very long time, so the sale price will probably be long gone. But it is currently on sale for $3.74. They sent me a text. They're having some sort of a yarn clearance event. I don't know if that is clearance or not. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. They have 16 different colors of this yarn. All of them are kind of solid. There is a medium gray that looks a little slightly, maybe a little heathery in my opinion. There you go. But the others are all very, very solid. There is a white that's currently out of stock, but things come in and out. They do have like a wish list where you can add it to your wish list or I think you can get reminded when it's back in stock. Yep. So if you click on something that's out of stock, click notify me when it's out of stock. They will let you know when it comes available for you if you're interested in a specific color. Okay, so initial impressions. This is thick. They say it's bulky, which would make it a 5 weight in my opinion. It looks like a good 5. Focus. You can focus? I don't know. It's a good, nice 5 weight. It is very crunchy. It could be the dye lot on this one. Red is traditionally one of the colors that does make a stiffer yarn. Red is hard to get in dyes and colors. So, in my opinion, it feels stiff. It is squishy, but it's stiff. It feels a little rough, but again, could be the dye. It feels a little ropey, could be the dye. So if you've worked with this in other colors, I would very much love to hear your impression with it. I am going to work this up into a project. I think I will go ahead and try to crochet up something quick, 80 yards. So here's the deal. I am a little worried that if I work up my project, I will not have enough to demonstrate a knit for you. I also really don't like knitting with this thickness of yarn, if I'm completely honest. So I'll just give you initial impressions. I'm gonna go off camera for a bit, decide, and I'll come back and let you know what I decide. You know what I should do? Here's what I'm gonna do. I see no reason why I think this will have a frogging problem. I'm going to shut off the camera. I'll get it set up. I will do a knit swatch for you, and then I will go ahead, rip that out. I'll do the crochet swatch for you, rip that out, and then I'll make the final product. So I normally like to already have the final product made, or at least a final product made, so I can talk about like the quality throughout the skein of yarn during my kind of swatches, so we have that discussion. So I might not be able to get into all of that super in depth when I'm doing the swatching, but when I come back and show you the finished item, I will be able to tell you then. Okie dokie, that's what we're gonna do. We have a plan. See you in a few. Hello, I am back. So this asks for 6mm crochet hook and 6mm US 10 knitting needles. I am having trouble locating my US 10, so for my knitting needles I have 10.5. And for my crochet hook, I do indeed have a J 6mm crochet hook. This is my Furls Tinsel Party one. Okay, let's do this. I will go ahead and start. Let's start with the knit one. I'm going to grab, that's just fine, I think. Do some cast on here. Let's see how this works. I have not worked with this yarn yet. I don't know what my feelings are on it at all. It, like I said, it feels a bit crisp, it feels a bit ropey, and that's that. Okay, as I'm working with it here, as it's pulling through my hands, it feels very rough acrylic. This feels very Super Saver in my hands. I use Super Saver all the time. That is not a problem. I don't mind. The pups are still upset. Okay, so the fact that it feels super savory doesn't bother me. It just means to me it is a very standard acrylic. Again, I'm using very long needles. I'm gonna, oh, that's not gonna be in frame if I hold it like that. Oh, come on. Do I have 10 circulars? Oh, I didn't even catch the stitch. Okay, so I'm struggling with this, but this is more a needle struggle than a yarn struggle. The yarn is stiff. It feels like Super Saver acrylic, but that is my only feelings on it. It doesn't feel extra fuzzy. It doesn't feel like there's any you know, fibers flying off of it, like the blankie yarn. It feels perfectly average in every way. I don't feel as though I am splitting it or at risk of splitting the yarn. My craft door was open. I'm filming this right after I filmed the scrunchie tutorial, so Brian and the kids are outside. Ollie the dog is lamenting the fact that he is not outside with them. Okay, let's do another row, but this is on the wrong side, so if we're doing stockinette, this would be a purl row. Let's do it. I'm not even on camera. Here we go. We're working on it. So, I feel like this swatch is not... Ollie, how did you get back in here? I didn't even hear you come up the stairs, bud. Why don't you lay down? Ollie, lay down. This swatch may not look the neatest, but that is because I'm struggling with my needles, and I don't believe it is any... Ollie, lay down. Any indictment or critique of the yarn itself. So let's see if we can flip it over. Do we get any idea of stitch definition or anything yet? I think it looks just fine. Again, I keep saying Super Saver. That is exactly what this feels like. It feels like a chubby Super Saver. So we're gonna call it done with this, because that was painful for me to do and probably near impossible for you to watch. Okay, let's frog it. I can't see why this would be an issue at all, and indeed frogged clean. Okay, let's go to the crochet swatch. I will say my hands are feeling a bit dry here. I don't know if something's happening to try to dry out my hands or what, but that's how I'm feeling. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've cast on 10 and 11th stitch. Now we're going to go ahead and do some single crochets. So I am having a bit more trouble here with the crocheting of the yarn. It's a bit stiffer. It's not working quite as smoothly. Could be the hook. There we go. I split it. Do I have a metal 6mm here? So I'm wondering if it's the sharp inline nature of this that's causing me some problems. $6mm J hook. Chain 1. We'll do half doubles. Oh, hey, this is moving a bit smoother. This is a tapered hook. Tapered head hook. It's still a bit coarse. It's still a bit tough to pull through. Ollie, lay down. This is... So I know that Crystal at Bag O' Day had bought some sweater kits from Mary Maxim that had this yarn in it. And I am very curious what hook they're having you use. This is stiff and dense, and I don't think I would use this with a J hook at all. I messed up my doubles. Yeah, this is like I feel this in my biceps. Like it's like pulling hard through. This is... I would not want to wear a sweater made of this fabric. If anybody has gotten the Mary Maxim kits using this yarn, what needles, what hooks are the patterns calling for? This is not pleasant. We've got 6.5 sitting right here. This is the one Crystal, the Yarny Chicken and Crazy Cat Lady made for me. It's beautiful. I love it. I'm going to try this one and see. Okay. This is nicer. I can already feel it. This is not as much of a struggle. That's a nicer feel. I think this is better suited to a 6.5 crochet hook. Sorry, I'm not going back and checking the knitting on a larger hook. The fabric for the knit swatch still felt a little it felt a little stiff, but that's okay. I'm going to do a row of single crochets in, that's a half double. I'm going to do a row of single crochets to see how it feels. I'm not, since moving to the tapered hook, having any issues with splitting the yarn or anything like that. Okay, that feels nice. Okay, I much prefer the 6.5 millimeter crochet hook with this one, so I would advise you to go with K. This is very dense. I mean, this is not the most supple, like, moving, flowing. If you were making a jacket, that might be what you want. This is going to be boxy. It's not going to be drapey. It's got good stitch definition. I'll give it that. The stitches look nice. It could be the dye. Red dye can be one of the stiffer ones. I don't anticipate having any issue with the frogging here, and indeed not one issue at all. I'm going to leave this crochet hook out because that's the one I will work on my project for. I think I said I was going to maybe make a hat or something. I'm going to try. Oops, sorry, knocked my tripod. I'm going to probably just try to make a basket. I think when I opened this, I said, ooh, that's basket yarn. After using it, I do believe it's basket yarn. And then I think I will come back and give additional review, final thoughts after I do create the basket with this yarn. I want to give it a good work through, see how the skein looks, how the quality of the yarn throughout, if there's any joins, all that stuff, so I can report back to you. I was going to wrap it around. I don't think I am. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye! Hello, I am back, and I have completed my project with the Titan yarn, so I said I would come back and let you know. I did end up using that same 6.5 millimeter crochet hook on the project, and I do think it worked the best for it. This is how much I have left. It's roughly 4 yards of yarn left. Actually, was it 4? It was doubled up. I think it's 8 yards because I held it 4 times. I folded it. Between 4 and 8 yards of yarn remaining, and I made this little red basket, and it holds up very nicely. The yarn is very stiff. I think this yarn is perfect for baskets. I think it's going to hold up well. I think it's going to be very washable and things like this. I think this is what this yarn is best suited for. It did continue to feel very ropey and kind of rough. This was tough for me to work with. It was not the most pleasant project, but I think we have a very, very nice little basket here. I've got a touch more yarn. I might try to make a scrunchie with that. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna let that yarn go. It doesn't need to be a scrunchie. Not every single last scrap has to be used, does it? Okay, so there it is. It's just a double crochet basket. I didn't follow a pattern. I just let the wind guide me. Okay, so I have a little cheat sheet of things I like to talk about in the yarn reviews. So the fabric is very thick and stiff, and I even went up a hook size. It recommended a 6 millimeter hook for that yarn. You saw in the swatch, I thought that was far too tight and far too dense. It was much more comfortable to me to work with the 6.5, so that's why I kept doing it there. I know they sell clothing patterns with this yarn. They sell, not patterns, kits using this yarn. I've seen Bod open them. I would not want to wear a sweater made out of this yarn. I am so sorry. Let me know if you have used this yarn and if the red is just a particularly stiff and coarse feeling one. I know sometimes dyes can have that effect, so I am open to that being an issue with this particular colorway. I'm not sure I'm curious enough to go out and buy another colorway though. Completely honest there. I found no knots, no snags, no imperfections. There was no join in the skein I had. No issues. The yarn was perfect throughout the skein, and as you can see, I saw the entire length of it. The feel on my hands as I was using it, it was rough. It was the equivalent of a Super Saver. It was, I mean, it wasn't uncomfortable other than the thickness, and I have carpal tunnel in my wrists, so often using a thicker yarn is more difficult for me. I know people who have arthritis in their hands say a thicker yarn is more comfortable for them, but for some reason my infirmity makes the thicker yarn less comfortable. As you saw, it frogged perfectly fine. The value for your craft dollar, it's a pretty good sized ball. How many yards was it? 80 yards of a yarn that thick. I could have definitely made a hat out of that. As you can see, it made a small to medium-ish basket. If I had made my base smaller, of course, the basket could have been a little bit taller. I almost wanted to sing a song there. But I don't know, for some reason I was feeling a wider basket when I was making that round, so that's what I did. I'm going to say it's a pretty good value. I'll say it's similar in length to the Lion Brand thick one. Is it Hometown? I think it is. Lion Brand Hometown is silkier. It's nicer feeling. I've made hats out of that. It didn't hurt my wrists quite as much. I do feel like maybe Hometown is a bit of a thinner yarn than this Titan. So I'm going to say it's a pretty... I'm going to give it like an average to good on your craft dollar rating and say it's probably a 7. It's not the best value, I think, given the feel, and to me this is very much a home goods, baskets, pillows, rugs, that type of project. I think is perfect for this yarn. Like I said, I would not personally want to make a sweater or anything like that out of it. Like I said, it was really, really good on frogging. 10 out of 10 frog factor. No issues whatsoever. There isn't much of a fuzz. I don't have concerns of pilling or anything like that on it. So for me, the feel and the ropiness, the coarseness of it is what's pulling it down. But I think it's perfectly... I'm going to give this a perfectly average score. It frogged great. The feeling was not awesome to me, but it wasn't the worst thing I've ever felt in my life. I'm going to give this yarn overall a 5 out of 10 Kitty Paws. Perfectly average. And by my average, my kind of guideline in all of this is Super Saver. Red Heart Super Saver, I feel like it's the yarn everybody knows. It's what we can agree on that, you know, it's just kind of the entryway yarn for so many people. I know there's lovers and there's haters of it. It can be a hot topic yarn, but I think like that's a perfectly average yarn for me. And this yarn is perfectly average. If you're looking for a nice, thick, bulky 5-weight yarn, this could be a great yarn for you if you're looking to make baskets, things like that. I would give it thumbs up. That's probably the only reason I might buy it, but I don't make a lot of baskets, so I'm not sure this is one I'm going to need to hold in my stash much, but if I'm like, hey, I want a basket, I might hit up Mary Maxim and buy some Titan. It worked great. Okay, I will see you later. Bye!